It's a bit difficult with we love our bassist George, but he lives in Pennsylvania.
Uh,
Um, Me, Wayne, and Mark, our keyboardists, have kids under the age of 10. You know,
yeah, I hear you.
it's a grind, but you know what? We're just still putting music out. So that's all that matters to us at this
Yeah,
point.
I know. That's we I have to definitely get out and play and tour. As you know, the band's been very busy, but we'll start up and we'll
All
talk
right,
about everything.
here we go. Let me get
Excellent.
the intro going, and we will be on.
And cue intro.
It's time for Red Salad Review with your hosts, Wayne Moon, Greg Narlow, and Lou Maddox.
Welcome to Rat Salad Review. Today we are joined by Mike Tirelli from the band Holy Mother. Hello,
How are you?
Mike.
How are you? I'm doing great. I love your intro. That's awesome.
Thank you very
Love it.
much. Yeah, I love it too. Thanks to Man Deer for making that little thing for us there, and Rocky Baya.
So it's Rat Salad Radio. I hear. I
Rat
see.
Salad
Review.
Rat Salad Review right now, and at 9 o'clock, you'll probably be on that show too, because I'm sure we're still going to be talking. We're
Yeah.
going to be on Rat Salad Review Radio on freeworld.fm. So if you're watching this, go to freeworld.fm at 9 o'clock, and you can hear music and us talking to Mike.
Wayne has learned to multitask the visual with the audio. So
And I'm going to multitask now and do all the stuff for the show. So Lou, I'm going to let you take over for a few minutes.
okay.
And
Well, first of all, I'm very grateful to the lovely Mrs. Janet Torelli for
Yeah.
giving us this time with Mike. I had the pleasure of having Mike on my former podcast, Music is Life podcast, 3 years ago when Holy Mother released Faces Burn. And right now, Holy Mother is getting ready to release their next record, which is coming out this month, right, Mike?
Coming out on Friday, June 7th. It's been a long awaited time for us. We as you know, we released 2 singles already, Fire and Try. And it's seems to be doing pretty good. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I just saw the video for Fire this afternoon for the first time, and my God, great special effects in there, great performances from all the band. The name of the album, by the way, is called Rise. It's coming out this Friday on Massacre Records.
Right.
This is your second record for Massacre?
Yes, the last one was Faces Burn. Was on Massacre as well.
Excellent. And you have new bandmates as well. You now have the young, talented Mickey Licks as your guitarist and new bassist as well. How'd you come across? I'm sorry, I don't know the bassist name.
Well, the thing is with the bassist, it's like a revolving door at this point. I have Wayne Banks. He does all the European touring with us. Wayne lives in Nottingham. He played on, I think Wayne played on 2 or 3 songs on the album. I played most of the bass on the album. Rodney Ticciaroni has been filling in on the American dates, but we're also checking out another guy just in case Rodney can't do it here in the States. I have another gentleman that's actually coming down on Monday. He plays with, I don't know if I should mention him yet. Maybe I shouldn't mention him yet.
Don't want to blow up any spots or any opportunities. So
you might know who he is, though. I'll tell you that. So him or the bands he's played with, probably the biggest guitar players in the history.
Get bass guitar players, you mean?
Yeah, but he plays in a band with a very well-renowned guitar player. Don't guess. I see that look.
All right. I'm sorry. It's the inquisitive youngin in me, but Mickey Licks is your new guitarist, and I remember when I had the opportunity to see you at Stereo Garden 3 years ago for the big D. Snyder live album or live DVD release show.
Right.
It was with a different guitarist, and now you have Mickey, and I've been following Mickey on Instagram. Think he's a very multi-talented guitar player. Definitely has the look.
Yeah. He
brings
it.
He definitely brings it. How was it that you discovered Mickey?
I discovered Mickey in a local music store right in Patchogue where I live. It's not even, it just actually closed, that music store, but it was a poster of Mickey. And I'm like, who's this kid? You look, he's all made up. He looks like 1986,
Definitely.
long hair. He's got the look, man. I'm like, this kid looks good. How does he play though? And the guy who owned the store at the time is, he's like, you got to see this kid play. I'm like, really? Yeah, he's great. He's a shredder. Plays, all different styles. I'm like, that's what I could be looking for something like that. So, with that said, my wife, Janet, who we mentioned before, saw him at a local festival here in Patchogue. I wasn't there. And I asked her, how's this kid? And she filmed him. I'm like, wow, the kid's really good. So at the time, our other guitar player, Greg Giordano, who's a brilliant guitar player, by the way, and really amazing. Greg has his own band. It's a very progressive band. And it's amazing that Greg,
yes.
Yeah, Terrigenous. It's an amazing band. Greg's a great guy. I just didn't feel like Greg was happy in the band, as far as the writing, because I do most of the writing, and I would give Greg some of the stuff, and he wanted to make it a little bit too progressive for me. But if it was better or worse, I don't know. But at the time, Jim Harris, the drummer,
yes,
we were the main writers, and Jim was not for it at all. And I was always like, give Greg a chance. The guy's a freaking brilliant guitar player, So it didn't work out. Greg pursued his own thing, his own solo thing, Terrigenous. And then I needed a guitar player. And I'm like, you know what? I'm looking for that spark, which Mickey filled that spot perfectly. So he asked me, his dad called me, his dad knew who I was over the years, called me to come down and sing a couple of songs with Mickey, because he does his solo thing at another local place.
Katie's of Smithtown?
Yes, Katie's, right.
Really nice venue.
Right. So we went down there. I went down there, sang, I think, a White song, a Priest song, and another Dio song or something like that. And I was, and then not from there, when Greg finally, left or whatever, I called Mickey. I said, would you be interested? He was totally into it. Yeah, of course. So his first gig was in Croatia. It's funny, right? First gig in Croatia.
That is a trial by fire.
Yeah. So December of 22, I think it was. We played like 8 countries. So that was getting his feet wet. And it was a great experience for him. And we were headlining. And then after that, we did Headbangers Open Air last year in Germany, and we did Wacken Open Air with Mickey, and then we just got off the Doro tour in March, a couple of months ago. It was amazing with Doro, sold out, 2,000
Metal
people
Queen herself
every night. Huh?
The Metal Queen herself.
Let me tell you, she's a great woman. She's sweet as anything, whatever. Just the whole crew, the hospitality, the tour was amazing. And every night when we went on, we were the main support. Just one band, us and Doro. Every night we went on at 8:15, sold out, shoulder to shoulder, doors closed. People in Europe, they're there in their spot. They don't move. It's like sardines. When you say 2,000, there's 2,000 there, shoulder to shoulder. So it was amazing, and the response was great. They really were totally into the band. We got encores just about every night, and then Holger, her manager, called me and wanted us to do the tour again with them. So we're gonna do the tour with Doro again in December.
That's awesome. That's great.
I mean,
And you have already established a career for yourself in Europe long ago with your various projects. So this must almost feel sort of like a homecoming for you.
It is. I mean, I've toured with Messiah's Kiss, the German band, which will be released. And if they ever get off their asses and let this thing move, I think
we're past the 2-minute mark. You could curse.
Yeah. It's funny because I know what they're doing, and it's a smart thing. Right now, Holy Mother's really doing really well. We're out there. We're in the press. So Messiah's Kiss will come out with something timely, and that will do good as well, you know? So we're finishing up some things and see how that goes. So yeah, touring with them. I toured with Riot in Europe and Japan. Did a lot of stuff with them. They're out on the road right now. Great friends of mine. We actually played the Headbangers Open Air with them, and Frank Gilchrist filled in on drums for that festival, actually. So yes, a lot of been to Germany so many times, and our label is a German label, Massacre.
Yeah. What I want to ask you, and this is, I know, a pressure point for a lot of bands, especially in the post-pandemic world that we're living in, where inflation has affected every aspect of logistics with touring.
Yes.
And the fact that Holy Mother has been able to establish and maintain and grow a fan base in Europe is great, but I gotta wonder, you know, with the cost of everything between lodging and gas and food and, you know, any amenities that you guys might have, and, you know, people would say, well, if you compared it to touring in America, it might be less because you're already here. But
Right.
you know, and I've spoken to many other people who do what Wayne and I do with podcasting, and one of them actually, Michael Brandvold, he does A&R, and he says, you know, touring in America normally would provide better than touring in Europe, but with you guys, it's like, you know, being over there as much as you are, I'm just curious. Does it definitely work out for your benefit? I mean, do things work okay? And is there anything stopping you from being able to do a tour in America? Because I think, especially in Midwestern states, and
Definitely.
with some venues on the East Coast, like Dingbats in Clifton, New Jersey, there's still a cry for good original hard rock and heavy metal.
Right. Yeah. Well, what we do when we go to Europe, here's the thing. When we headlined, we played very small club dates or whatever. So basically, we break even on a lot of shows, and sometimes we're a little bit over. But what we're doing is promoting. So we're really taking a risk, obviously. The flights, what we do is we have a little fund, which we try to chip into the Holy Mother Fund, which sometimes can pay some of the flights that the promoters don't cover 100%. So basically, we're all like chipping in now to build the band up to be the headliner after this album comes out, after the Doro tour or whatever. Well, you have to invest in yourself. I mean, original music. The thing is, as you know, well, I'm going to talk about the States. Yes, it's a lot less expensive. We have a great team in Europe. We have this guy, Phil Adams, that drives for us, roadies for us. He's actually from England, but he's been living in Germany for, I think, 20 years at least. Speaks the language very well, and just takes care of everything for us. And we have a lot of people that help us when we're over there. So we have a team. That also helps. But like I said, expense-wise, with the Doro tour, it worked out pretty well. It did. Merchandise, we sold a lot of merch. We get some money back there as far as costs, you know, covering some of the expenses. And some of the promoters give us lodging a lot of times and food, you know. But here in the States is a different thing. It's obviously less expensive, but we're trying to build up the fan base now. So we've been doing a lot of press here in America. We actually on some radio, we did some radio ads. The record company did some stuff here.
Which, by the way, if I could interrupt real quick, congratulations on being the #1 most added band this week for Metal Contraband. That is a great feat. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, so we're doing some, you know, promo here, and people are asking, when are you going to play? Now, it's funny, since Ronnie James Dio's death 14 years ago,
Wow.
I clipped the Children of the Sea video that I did with Richie Castellano and the Band Geeks.
Yes.
And we on his day that he passed, we hosted it. So that was only 2 weeks ago. We have, what is it, 600 and something thousand views already. 1,500 shares. I don't know, like 1,500 comments or more. I haven't checked it in 2 days, so I don't know. But with that said, now they're checking out Jeremiah's. We did Jeremiah. We cut it, put that out. That's got like 40,000 in 2 weeks. People are really starting to, get to know what Holy Mother is and what the history of it as well. They're looking back. So the States, we will be definitely, touring the States really soon. We just got to figure it out. We do got a show on August 4th as a headliner at the Landis Theater in New Jersey. So that's that. But now, things are already booked up. So we're in the midst of putting that together here in the States.
That's awesome news. Yeah. I mean, Holy Mother's a band that's been around for the better part of almost 30 years. I mean, I remember telling you that my first exposure to what Holy Mother was on a Dio tribute called Holy Dio that was put out by Century Media Records back in 99 or 2000, around that time.
Yeah.
And I was just like, who is this guy singing? Like, it's sick in a good way,
Yeah. Appreciate that.
And like over the years, I heard the name Mike Tirelli. And when I first took notice of the fact that Faces Burn was coming out, immediately I said, I really like this guy's album. I want to help promote it. And here we are 3 years later, back doing this, and I'm very grateful and appreciative that you took the time out to do it. No, it's not over. I just wanted to get that out of the way. But Wayne, do you have any questions?
Yeah. How is this new album differ from the previous album or previous albums that you've done?
Yeah, like, was there a different writing style that you wanted to go in with this?
Well, if you take back like Toxic Rain, which was our most popular when we first came out, we had Randy Colvin in the band. He was on every album, Randy, up till the last album, Faces Burn, because he passed. But back tech, Toxic Rain is more of a thrashier power metal. We were all writing pretty much together in a room, But Faces Burn, comparing it to Faces Burn, it's comparative as far as the writing, not style, but so much of the process. I just wanted it to be, like I was saying earlier to you off the air, that I wanted it to be more palatable for American rock, hard rock, heavy metal, and the European hard rock, heavy metal. And I'm totally, from the reviews and everything, see that we succeeded so far. The last album was more geared to, I think, more American and some, venturing into the European style, But what helped me is always being overseas and seeing really what's going on and what's popular. So this new album, I went more of like a 50-50 style, more American, more European, with the verses sounding more like Dio, American. And then the chorus is opening up into like more of a symphonic sing-along kind of chorus kind of thing, And I think I'm doing it all the time. I'm always writing. So I'm just gonna, I think we found our niche, I should say, me and myself and Jim Harris, who's not in the band anymore. He retired, Jim. And
Okay.
he would, he's great. I mean, Jim's great. He'd write a lot of lyrics for me. I would just sing melodies and say lyrics and write lyrics, and he would come up with really brilliant lyrics. But that's basically the writing, the way that we write. I write a lot of the grooves and the drum beats and grooves, and I play the guitar and I play bass on it too. So that's the way the last album and this album was written.
Okay. What is it, do you think, that the European audience doesn't like about like the American sound? Because like with our stuff, like with Severed Angel stuff, we'll get reviews and stuff like that, and the Europeans will like they'll kind of trash it a little bit, you know. It's like, and I don't know what they expect from us to do for them to like us. So what are you?
For an example,
Yeah, give me an example.
I wasn't asking for A&R tips, Wayne, but okay, might as well just
Well, it's
ask
just the
him.
topic. I just
You know,
off my
like
head.
in one interview across many different, not one, in one review across many different magazines, they'll say they're either too generic or they're not generic enough, and it's like that doesn't make any sense. It's like, you
Yeah, I
know,
was gonna say.
And
I
he's
mean,
been in
what
the
are they
game a lot
like,
longer than we have, so I'm curious. Like, what are they looking for?
when they say generic, it's kind of confusing because what is generic today?
that's a
What
great
what do you think?
question.
Right. I don't really know because generic can be, I don't know, maybe some of the stuff you hear on Octane, maybe like Octane Radio, which is satellite. Like, you know,
Right.
are you
Yeah,
familiar with
yeah.
Octane?
No,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am.
Yep.
Maybe they mean that, but I don't know. I'd have to really hone in on your music, like, and see what
But even for like your band, like you said, your last album was more geared towards the American
yeah, a
style.
little
So,
bit.
what makes them, the Europeans, not like that album as much? Maybe. Well, what are they hearing that?
To add to that, it's like, you know, like you, Mike, you know, we're fans of music, you know, it's not just metal. So it's
Yeah,
like,
I don't listen to like a band and say, "Oh, they're from Europe. I have to like them."
yeah,
You
it's like,
know.
you know, for example, on the last album, you guys covered the Carpenters, you know,
Right.
and you,
That might have been a wrong move, as Jim Harris said.
I
I
enjoyed
just like
it.
the Carpenters. What do you want me to
I
say? I love my
well,
voice.
but you also did an updated, newer version of your song "The River" that was formerly available on Toxic Rain, which I thought sounded great. It sounded updated. It sounded, you know, right for the album. But it's like, you know, like in my iPhone, like I could listen to 1 second Holy Mother. The next track that will come up is Andrea Bocelli, and then the next track
Maroon
after that is the
5.
Birthday Massacre, not Maroon 5.
You don't
But you
like
know,
Maroon
it's
5?
like we're just fans
No,
of music that are inspired by what we grew up to, and I know you're like that too. So it's like, you know, what do they want us to do? Sound the same on every song, on every album? We don't get it.
It's so ridiculously hard to figure out. Like I
It's an
said before,
algorithm.
what I tried to do, I try to go with my strong point as far as keeping my voice sounding more in the Dio-ish. They love that over there. They really do. And so hard rock fans love that too. But like I said, I think they're into this. If you listen to some of these European bands, like we toured with a band called Dynasty, and they're from Sweden. I'm a fan. Brilliant band. You got to check them out. Great singer. Guitar plays are great. But the songs are so huge. It's got this big symphonic thing going on. Guitars are in a lot of harmonic minor guitars in harmony, and lots of voices, big voices in the choruses. It's really hard to pinpoint. I mean, check out bands like that, but I would have to hone in. It's hard for me to say. You can never. It could be just one writer that you got. It's only one guy writing it, right? It could be one guy being like, you know, this is too generic, whatever. You know, you get that.
Yeah, it's very strange. Europeans are very strange people.
Yeah, great, Wayne. There goes half the fan base. Anyway, but now that's did you find it, I guess, easier, or was it sort of like a challenge to like hone that you know, that idea of what they might like with this one?
Was it easy? I guess nothing's easy, but what I would do was just like when I'm writing songs, I'll be writing a riff or a melody, and then I'm thinking, what can I do to open this chorus up? Just easy chords, nothing too percussive. You could be percussive in the verses. You could be, you know, you're percussive, whatever. And then, you know, when it gets to the chorus, just like nice, easy, open chords, you know, typical chord progressions. And just, you know, that seems to always be something that captures their attention, you know, like open chords, but heavy, you know, heavy, like in the tunings and all that kind of stuff. A lot of my songs are in C sharp, some are, they're all over the place. So Mickey's got to got to use a pedal live because everything is like all over.
Oh, the
place.
drop tune pedal. Yeah, because
Yeah.
he has all of his Charvels have the Floyd Rose on them, and those are a bitch to tune.
Yeah, I know. But he's got it down. He does a great job. But it can get confusing for a bass player too, because some songs are in C, and then the next one's in C sharp. We try to put them together at times. Make it easy for the musicians live.
Yeah.
Weird.
I was listening to some of your music on Amazon Music, and you don't have the thing. There's a thing that comes up and has like a description of the band or whatever, and it was
Right.
saying something about, because I haven't heard your earlier albums, but it says at some point in your career, Holy Mother had like an industrial type sound. Is that true?
They did.
Okay. Now, what was the?
It was
like,
still good.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, which one? Which one are you talking about?
I don't know. I didn't listen to it yet. It just said that like earlier on in your career, you did some industrials experimentation.
I think he's talking about the
whatever.
Agoraphobia album specifically.
It didn't specify which album it was. It just said it on there. So I was
Agoraphobia.
curious.
I wouldn't say agoraphobia was too. So what'd you say?
Industrial.
Industrial.
I wouldn't say it was industrial. I think they're talking about that the same band members. We had a project called NOW, and we tried to make it more industrial, but it really did not come out good because it just was not good. One of my least favorite albums that wasn't really under Holy Mother. But if you're talking about Agoraphobia, that was more. It definitely wasn't industrial, but more like Pantera-ish or something.
Okay, so that might have been kind of what they were kind of leaning.
I'm not a fan of that one either.
Yeah.
See, I enjoyed that one. I mean,
did you?
I like variety in bands, so it's like, to me, I'm always willing to give bands a chance if they, undertake a different path within their musical palette. I think it's good when bands experiment. If it works, great. If it doesn't, okay, on to the next one. Hopefully it'll be better. But I enjoyed it.
It's cool when bands experiment,
Appreciate
but if they do it like all of a sudden like a shock, like all of a sudden you did an industrial album and
Right.
completely different, like Paradise Lost, they did an album, it was all techno and electronic stuff, and it
Host,
it was,
I like that one too. There's something wrong with me, I guess.
I can't.
What's funny is I'm definitely not going to go industrial. The next album is going to be like this album, because it may be a couple of different experiments I'll experiment with. Like I like a lot of sometimes I'll play with my fingernail to make it sound like a keyboard.
Well, we can't hear it because it's not plugged in.
Right. So,
but keep doing that because we'll make a funny video out of that.
Yeah, it's like I'll make the guitar sound like a keyboard or whatever, but I don't really use too much keyboard sounds, which I might on this next record. If you listen to the full album, we have some strings on a song called Rain. It's an epic ballad. It's so cool. Got strings on it, big voices. Do you guys don't have the full album of?
No.
Unfortunately not, no, because I just went directly to Janet. I didn't go through a representative at Massacre, or I'm guessing that a Skateboard Marketing will be handling your.
I am on Massacre.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. You know what? See if you can get one from them. That would be great.
We still have to give Mumsy 10 copies of the new Severed Angel album. They haven't come in yet.
I'm on Massacre's mailing list, so I might have it actually, but it might have went to the spam folder.
Oh, Massacre, do better.
You got to hear all the songs. There's a good variety on this record, really. And Rain, it's funny because Rain was the last song that we put on the album, and I wrote that a long time ago, and I was always like such a over the. I was like, this is probably like the best song I ever wrote. I always say that, right? And then and I said to Jim, we got to put this on the album, And Jim came out with a really brilliant drum beat and groove during the chorus. And I'm like, you really added to it. I could say that. It's a little bit different. It's like Meshuggah in the chorus. That's the band I was looking for. He's a big fan of Thomas
Hawk.
Hawk, yeah. And he's like, this would be so good in the chorus, because it's like a 6/8 time. 2, 3, 4, bow, ding, bow, boom, bow, ding, ding, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's got that swing to it. But he
Right.
was like, you did like double bass in the chord.
So like polyrhythmic stuff that he would.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Now I really want to hear it.
But I said to him, it's such a good song. We got to be careful. We might ruin it to be more commercial if we didn't just go instead of
I
yeah,
got it.
doing like. But you know what? I'm like, Jim, leave it. If we ever have to do a remix, we'll just do more typical follow the groove on it. But you got to hear it. The song "Rain" is killer. Rock Hard,
I got the
Rock
album right
Hard
here.
Magazine said it was their favorite song off the album, and they love the Elevator, and they love Fire, and they love Jeremiah, but this one really caught them. I'm like, wow, everyone's got a different opinion, but everybody is really enjoying the album. That's great. And when you got so many different songs on the album that people are that really digging, that's can't ask for anything more.
That's awesome. So let's see. What else would I want to
I'm gonna be playing. I got a song playing now, and I'm gonna play Fire next, and then we're gonna come on the radio station. So
Awesome.
So yeah, I was really happy to have seen the live performance at Stereo Garden, and I feel bad that I missed the performance at Katie's of Smithtown. But
That was good. That was a good one.
Yeah, from the video that I saw from it, looked like it was a packed house that night, and
Yes,
probably one of the few venues that has good bar selection. Number one,
was it
number
haunted
two,
when you went?
Is it what?
Was it haunted when you went? Did you see any ghosts? I heard that place is haunted.
I heard about Katie's being haunted.
I did not hear anything of the sort.
It was on Ghost Adventures.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I heard about that.
I thought it was just the sounds coming from the Smithtown train station, but whatever. I digress. But they also have a great sound system there, great lighting. I was part of the Decay and Decadence showcase that was there earlier last month.
Wow.
And and I know Miggy's played there a lot, and there's so many places in small. I think he's also played 89 North, and they seem to be doing really well with showcasing like the original bands for I think they're doing it like one night a month at this point. But,
yeah. Well,
oh no, I remember what I want to ask you. You guys, and there goes my Toxic Avenger Funko Pop. You guys just recently played Sony Hall opening for Zebra for their 40th anniversary. I wanted to ask you how it was that they asked you to be a part of it and how the show went.
The show was incredible. That was not this past Saturday, it was the Saturday before. It was great. It was sold out, great play. It's a really nice venue. Very, very nice. Randy and the boys, the great guys. We were a little bit tentative on us being a little bit too heavy for them.
Mm-hmm.
So we cut out. We didn't play any double bass stuff like The River or Toxic Rain. But we did 2 covers, which went over, with all our own music. Here I Go Again, which always goes over amazing, especially for, Zebra fans. And we also did Holy Diver. And we won over a lot of people. I got to say, we won over a lot of people. Put it that way. It was insane. Great. But,
yeah,
I wanted to play more shows with them, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if we're a great fit. They felt we might be too heavy for them. I don't know. But we won over a lot of fans. I could say that for sure.
I mean, Zebra was one of the first bands I remember listening to as a kid. I mean, Tell Me What You Want. I remember my brother actually had the record of that. Yeah. And, I was smitten with them. I was so honored to have actually played 2 shows with Randy Jackson when he was doing acoustic shows. At the time, I was a bassist, keyboardist in Snakes and Arrows, a Rush tribute band with Gary Factora.
Oh, Gary, yeah.
Who speaks incredibly highly of you. And, he's busy with Panic, and and I think he's got this REO Speedwagon tribute now too.
Yeah, so. With a friend of mine, Matt Klein, right?
Yeah, that's another great guitar player. Matt and I both did not get the Smashing Pumpkins guitar gig. It ended up going to Kiki Wong. Good for her, where I'm very happy for her. Yes, Wayne, I was going to sell you out for the Pumpkins. Anyway.
Was that close?
That would have been like, good, get out, you stayed your hour.
Yeah.
But I was curious. So, like, Sony Hall is only a venue that I think had probably opened up about recently, and I think it's great that there's still venues in New York City, but it's kind of sad when there's no opportunity to play places like the Continental or CBGBs or Tramps or even Coney Island High, where at one point in the 90s, so many metal bands were playing there. I mean, from Halloween to Hammerfall to Death.
Right.
And
They're playing Irving Plaza now. Irving Plaza. They do a lot there.
Yeah, no, Irving has been doing a great job, playing, hosting metal bands and hard rock bands who, can pack up to 1,000, which is awesome.
Right.
Wayne, you said you saw Halloween at Irving, right?
Yeah, I think it was Irving, or it's one of those places, a studio, something. I don't remember what the name it was.
Well,
It was so long ago.
I was to say, like, how was Sony Hall a good venue overall?
Yeah, it was great. I loved it. Just the sound guy. We didn't bring our own sound guy, but it was all you heard was bass, no guitar, bass and vocal. And thank God Rodney has such a really good bass sound. So his bass sounded amazing. I'm like, your bass sounds great. He goes, even he calls me. He goes, I guess the sound man is a bass player. He said, yeah, all you heard was the bass, no guitar at all, and you heard my vocal, which is, at least I was thankful for that. Yeah.
Well, you won the crowd over, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, we really did, man. We really did. We got a great live show, especially when Wayne's in the band. Wayne Banks. I mean, he's a showman. He's great. Wayne's played with Robin Gibb from the Bee Gees for 10 years. I mean, he's played with Rainbow. He's played with Blaze Bailey. He's played with Doro. The guy's played with everyone. He's in a big show in England called Classic Rock Show. It's like a huge production. And they just played States. So, yeah, the guy's great.
Is that comparable to, I guess, the Rating the Rock Hall thing that happens in Vegas? Similar idea?
It's bigger. It's way bigger.
It's bigger, okay.
It's a big. It's Brit Floyd. You know Brit Floyd? They go around the whole world. Gilmore actually plays in it sometimes.
They're the one tribute band that I saw on public television. So yes.
You did? Okay.
They were on Channel 13 at one point. I was like, why is Channel 13 showing a Pink Floyd tribute show? Not that I'm complaining. I'm just shocked.
And that's the same production: the lighting, the sound, the production, the whole thing is on ears and conducted, and it's just amazing. Everything, the visual, he does that pretty much full time.
Very cool. And again, I wanted to ask you, again, I know that you're a cancer survivor, and I'm so glad that you're still with us. How are you feeling?
Feeling great. I mean, every day I know what I got to do to feel good and what I can't do. Yes, 16, 17 years ago, I'll reiterate what we probably talked about a while ago. I had stomach cancer, the same cancer that Ronnie Dio had. Mine was stage 3, and I fought it before it went to stage 4, and it was totally brutal. Being like, the treatments and oh boy. Anyway, they had to do a full gastrectomy, take my whole stomach out, so I don't have a stomach at all. No stomach. So it takes time to figure out how to eat, what foods I can eat, which changes a lot. Quantity, timing, what I can drink, what I can't drink. Then I had I was drinking a little bit too when I had, after surgery, and I had to stop drinking. I got like a blockage in there, in my intestines or whatever, and all the enzymes from I got what did I get? Totally just blocked up where they wanted to like go in and do surgery. I'm like, no, you're not going back in there, So it was something that I had to stop even drinking, and I wasn't even drinking a lot, So that also caused like more like the enzymes in there would thicken up with alcohol or whatever. So, but I do got to take supplements as well because I don't absorb like B12 some minerals and stuff like that. But I'm doing good. My health is great as long as I stay strict.
God bless, man. Just that's wonderful. Wayne?
Bear with me here. We're on freeworld.fm right now. I'm just making sure that everybody's audio is coming through, and I don't hear you guys. So continue so I can see what's going on here.
Oh, Wayne's a technical guru over here.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask you. So I see, is that a Les Paul that you're actually playing right now?
Freeworld.fm right now. I'm just making sure that
I can't see the headstock brand name.
Oh, you know why? Because I got the tuner on.
The tuner's on it. Oh, Michael Kelly. Oh, yes, they're a good instrument manufacturer. Is that the guitar that you primarily use for writing primarily?
No, man. I use my Schecter. I use my 2 Schecters, and then on Jeremiah, I use the 7-string.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I just whatever I'm feeling. When you pick up a 7-string, it gives you a whole new feeling on how to write something else. You get a different sound, so it inspires you.
Yeah, I mean, I have a Dean Vendetta. It's a 6-string that I usually I actually have that set up to C sharp standard, but sometimes I'll actually just go down drop B, and it's still the tonation on it sounds great, but I do know that there is a benefit to playing 7 strings that just comes across clearer or thicker as opposed to doing it on a 6-string, which is meant to be in a 440 standard. So
right. I mean, if you tune down just a half step the whole guitar, and then you take your E string down, you're in C sharp, and that's fine.
Yeah, I love that. That's my favorite tuning.
yeah. A lot of our stuff is in C sharp or whatever, but yeah. But when you pick up the 7-string and you got 1 string tuned to B, and you play a heavy chord or whatever, it sounds amazing. Or you could take your B string and take that down a full step. Now you're like an open A, which I haven't done yet. I'm not really in that realm yet.
That is interesting. I didn't think about that. Oh, something to contemplate. Very cool. So I do know that Holy Mother does have 2 albums, well, 3 albums total that were released in the 90s, but I do know that one of them is the first 2 are not available on streaming. Is that due to a licensing thing, or is that something that's out of your control?
Well, it kind of is. It is a licensing thing, but the first album that we did was more like a hard rock record or whatever. We started to make our mark on that second album, which was Toxic Rain. That's on all the platforms, and so is
Toxic Rain is, yes,
and so is Criminal Afterlife.
And I did purchase my copy of because I couldn't find Toxic Rain on streaming. And all I was able to find was used copies, but I was able to purchase one off Discogs shortly after we first spoke, and immediately I just ripped it to my MacBook, and synced it to my phone. So I was like, finally, I have it. Okay, so
the only thing we need to release now is My World War, which was after Criminal Afterlife.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course, Agoraphobia was on SPV Steamhammer, and they already have that on all the platforms already.
That is available.
Yeah.
But there was a while that SPV was having issues with all of its bands. I mean, I remember UFO was signed to them at one point, so it was Typo Negative, and then all those albums just disappeared. Something happened with them. I don't know, but
they're just releasing older collective albums, like you said, UFO. What else they got? Holy Hatch, I don't know. Some of the older bands from the 70s and the 80s. That's all they do now. They don't sign any new bands.
Yeah, I think they signed Molly Hatchet at one point.
That's what I was about to say, Molly Hatchet.
Right.
Hatchet. Right.
Which is another band that I grew up loving. And you mentioned that that Janet had found Mickey at a Long Island Music Festival on Patchogue. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say, was that the Great South Bay Festival, or was it a different one?
No. Wasn't that of that magnitude? Great South Bay is a huge festival here.
Yeah.
Huge. I mean, I think they at least got 25,000 people, I'm telling you, over the whole weekend.
Oh, I believe it.
No, it was like a little small little like street fair kind of thing. It was one of the music stores hosted it right off Main Street. You know where Record Stop is? The new Record Stop, Petro.
No, not too
It's
familiar
off
with it.
Railroad. Yeah, it's off Railroad, right behind the music store that was there. They set up a stage or whatever, and he was out there ripping it up.
Very cool. And yeah, like I said, I mean, playing wise, look wise, great fit for the band. So I'm glad that you locked him in. Um, and with the tour coming up in the winter in Europe with Doro, I mean, I'm going to assume that because of your experience with Jack Starr's Burning Star and with Holy Mother in the 90s and the fact that she was in Warlock in the 80s, like was there ever a history between you two that went far back when?
Yeah, I actually toured with Doro in 2002 with Messiah's Kiss. We did 32 or 34 dates from it was October. We started 2002, I believe. In October, it was 32 dates, and that was the first time that I actually met her. So a long time ago. Yeah, we that was the first. It was actually the first Messiah's Kiss album tour.
Yeah. So I know Call of the Wild came out around 2000, so I'm thinking it was probably the next album after that. With Doro, I mean, not with Holy Mother.
Right. I don't.
Because
I'm sure, but I did hear every night. All we are. All we are. Every night.
that's
Yeah.
her anthem. That is her anthem. That solidified her as the metal queen in my eyes. So
Yeah. She's great.
yeah, that's awesome. And sorry, I guess Wayne dropped off, but he'll be back on. I hope he's
Yeah.
aware that he dropped off.
You
But
said he was having audio problems, I believe.
yeah, but it's not with the YouTube feed. It's with his freeworld.fm feed. But that's okay. We can continue. Um, so after the December tour plans, I mean 2025, I'm guessing that's going to be Holy Mother's 30th anniversary as a band.
Yeah. It's gonna be 95, right? The first album. Yeah.
That's
Everybody
insane.
yeah, these are crazy. But we did take 18, 19 years off, and came back in 2020.
No, phooey, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, I
I
know.
mean, the material's still out there, so
Yeah, you
yeah,
know what though? It does as far as being relevant, being in the press, building momentum, especially with social media. That was the time when social media was so uh, in the forefront. You needed to have social media, and we dropped off. And so we didn't gain all those social media following at the time. Right now, we would have, a 500,000 followers from Holy Mother or whatever. So that was hurt. That was hard to come back from that. So we're building again, big time. And it's right now we're doing very well, but we're not in the hundreds of thousands of followers of Holy Mother on social media yet.
well, I'm hoping you get it, and I'm definitely hoping that with the album that's coming out soon and the momentum from there, that'll just go on to bigger, better things. I mean, I mean, as someone who's happy to call you a friend, and me being a fan of yours, I mean, to see vindication after all these years for all the work that you've put in. I mean, for me as a fan and a friend, it's validating. And I can only imagine how, it makes you feel, but I also know that it's a ton of hard work
Oh,
that you got to put into it.
it is. It is. I'll tell you. You know what it is? You always want to live up to what people think about you as a musician, as a singer. And when you get a little older, you got to really take care of your voice. So I do that. I do a lot of exercises to keep the voice strong. I play in another band, as you probably know. I play in an 8-piece wedding band too.
Yes, I do.
Great band, amazing band. We're actually doing a gig on Sunday at Double and Deck. It's
That's
like a
great.
show. Yeah, we do public gigs, wedding gigs, and the musicians are like amazing. When I tell you amazing, They are it. I mean, Rashida's the band leader. She was with the band. She was with Janet Jackson for a long time. Paul Abdul's band, Enrique Iglesias. She's just amazing. Then the bass player and the drummer are teachers, but the bass player is amazing. This guy, Charlie Leach. Oh, amazing, amazing guy. So singing all types of music is good, but it's nothing like using your rock voice. You have to maintain it and you have to work at it. There's exercises to keep your voice from not straining it or burning it out or whatever. But when I'm on the road, when we did the Dynasty tour in 2022 in April, we did 17 shows in a row in 8 countries. And I might knock on wood, by the end of the shows, the end of the tour, I had no problems. My voice was maybe as good or better on the last show.
That's great.
But
And you, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I didn't have to sing, an hour, 2-hour show. I had a 45-minute set, but still, I'm like thankful for that. So,
Do European venues have sort of like the union type deals like in the States where it's like, you go on this time, you get off this time. If you play over, it's, you get penalized. Is it sort of like that too in Europe?
Pretty much on the Doro tour, it was on a higher scale. And before we even started, Hans is their tour manager. And I had a lot of questions. I'm like, what's about this? What are we going to do with the merch? Blah, blah, blah. He goes, don't worry about it. When you get here, you're going to be surprised. We have this going on. We got this going on. We have the chef. We got this. So all the venues are professionally, timely ran. Everything's on point. When we get there, we get to the venue at 3:00. They're already done with their sound check by 4. We go on. They were supposed to only get 20 minutes, half hour. We're up there sometimes an hour and a half sound checking, which is cool. They really gave us a free, a lot of time or whatever. But it is strict when you get up there and your time to play. If you got 45 minutes, 45 minutes is what you get. As far as setting up, we have our own stage crew. They got their own stage crew, but it's not union where, they take a break and go eat lunch or whatever. No, it's not like that. Not what we did.
Right. Now, being that Europe and, well, any country outside of the United States, it's on different voltage, different currency. And, obviously bringing full stacks or half stacks over is out of the question. So were you guys sort of in a situation where it's like, you kind of bring in like DI boxes, or did you like rent the equipment while you were there? Because I know that every band does it differently. Like there's a lot of bands who do fly-in dates only, so they have no problem renting the equipment out from like a local studio or a local store. So like what kind of situation did you face yourselves in with that?
Well, I've been faced with different situations. Going back to the tour that we didn't headline with Dynasty, we all just went direct. And you know what? I'm not a big fan of that, even though I use my in-ears or whatever. We got a full mix in our ears. They had a separate, guy doing monitors and a front house guy. But I really like the feel off the stage, especially guitar and bass. We're a rock heavy metal band. If I'm not feeling the bass hit me in the chest or whatever live, I'm not a big fan of everything being direct and everything in your ears. I use 2 sets. I got molds, which you'd have to use the molds to get a full good mix, I use Jerry Harvey's, and then I use my Shores when I have if I have amps on stage and stuff. On the last tour with Doro, Wayne uses direct, but he also used an amp that was there ready from Doro. They let us borrow that. Mickey used one of Bill Hudson's amplifiers from Doro.
Oh, Bill Hudson is a sick guitar player.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's a good guy too, man. You got such a great time on tour. So we use both, but I always like to hear, like I said, some sound coming off the stage. Everything direct. When you go up to do a video, if someone's up in the front of the stage, just say, all you're hearing is vocals and drums. Sounds terrible, you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. But basically, we do rent equipment, like amplifiers. Like I said, our roadie who helps us, Phil Adams, he'll bring something for us, an amplifier or a bass head or whatever. That's basically it. And then drummers, they just bring their pedals and cymbals, whatever, hi-hat stuff, and their instrument.
Very cool. So we mentioned Entourage as well. That's great. By the way, if you ever need a fill-in guitar player, please let me know. But
We have right before you get going. We have somebody in the chat here. Actually, somebody I know, Robert Garcia. He says, "Mike, a big fan since the Starship cover back in the '80s."
Oh,
so he's been a fan of you for a very long time.
Yeah, that was where we used to play there with one of my high school bands called Les Licks. It's great.
Oh wow!
What was his name?
Robert Garcia.
Robert Garcia.
Rob Garcia. I'm sure I know him. Sure, I do.
It's quite possible.
But you were also doing a Whitesnake tribute for a band for a while too, right? Called Snakebite, if I recall.
That was early on. We did, and then it converted into Dio Snake. We do both, all the hits from Dio and all the hits from Whitesnake. You know what it is? People come out to see Dio. They want to know every song, no B-sides. So I said, let's brilliantly put something together where everybody knows every song that we're playing, every hit song from Whitesnake, every hit song from Dio. So they're always enticed in what we're doing, right from the start. We mix them up.
See, I played in Neon Nights as a rhythm guitarist, keyboardist, and one of the things that I used to love doing with them were the album cuts that people would love to hear. Like I can't tell you how much joy it brought me when we played Evil Eye off of Last in Line, and people loved it. Like, I think with Dio fans, they know the material. And, it's not just about the hits, but I get what you're saying. For an average layperson, when they hear the name Dio, they think, oh, Rainbow in the Dark.
Right. Or Holy Diver.
Right. Or Holy Diver. Not realizing the man's got 10 albums worth of solo material. He was in Rainbow. He was in Black Sabbath, But, I mean, actually, that kind of goes into the next question I want to ask you is, music fans, and this is not a knock on them, but it is an observation. They really like to go mostly with what they know. Right.
That's why tribute bands are so big today, and it's crazy.
And I respect that, but I guess for me, it's like, if I'm going to be in a tribute band, like, I would like to challenge myself and play like some of their more difficult songs, or probably some of their album cuts that aren't well known. But again, that's me. That's why I'm in Severed Angel. But anyway, sorry, Wayne, no offense. Yeah. But
not anymore.
I'm back. but I guess the question I want to ask you is, when it comes time to create the set list, like, are you doing it for you, or do you just try to take into account what the audience will go for? Like, is there a balance, or is it sort of, well, I got to do what I know that they would want to hear, and that's the end of it? Like, what's your take on that?
It's definitely both. There's songs that I'm like, we got to do this song because I love this song and I feel great singing it. But you gotta try to mix it in what I think the people are gonna like when you're in Germany or whatever. That's basically, you really got to do that. You got to, play it to see what the people like. I mean, on tour, we added Power at the end. We took out No Death Reborn, I think. They weren't really digging No Death Reborn. It was more too slow for them, I guess. I don't know. Not that they didn't like it. They didn't go crazy, like nuts over No Death Reborn, opposed to when we played Power. It's on the new album, by the way. For the first time, it was just like, wow, can't believe it, This is what they want to hear. They want to be able to sing the choruses, power, power, they want to get into it. So definitely a mix of both. You want to do stuff that you feel comfortable with and what's your favorite, but you got to think what's good for the audience live. But also what the band can cut live that goes over big. Some songs with any band just don't go over big live, but they're a studio cut. I mean, bands I've heard in interviews, even bands like Depeche Mode, some songs they just can't do live because it's hard to do or whatever. It just doesn't go over. The band doesn't replicate it well, you know?
I hear what you're saying. I mean, like, I think my favorite Depeche Mode song of all time is Rush off of Songs of Faith and Devotion. Not one of the more popular songs, but for
Right.
me, it just hits deeper. Like, for example, on Faces Burn, my favorite track on the album, believe it or not, and I love the whole album, but the one that really hit at me was Love Is Dead because it sort of brought me
Right.
back to the metal that I loved growing up, but making it updated for the 21st century.
Right.
And I thought that there was value there. But the song No Death Reborn, I know that you recorded it. That was your daughter singing it on the album with you. And when I saw you perform it, she came on stage with you. So I think having witnessed that, it was something that I appreciated as a dad to a
Yeah.
daughter. I appreciated seeing that, but I could also understand, the European fans not being into it. So I get it. And I respect the fact that you have to draw a fine line between what you want to do and what they want to hear. But
Yeah. You have to because and when we definitely have to play The River. We have to play Toxic Rain because that's what pretty much got Holy Mother on the map, from those albums. And I like them. Sometimes, sometimes it gets a little crazy. It's like, it's fast and I'm like, all right, got to gear up for this one. But whatever, they loved, they really love the River and they like Toxic Rain, So like I said, we have to do those songs. That's what got us there,
Understood. Wayne, I'm talking too much. You have anything you want to ask?
It's okay. You worked with Jack Starr back in the day. What was that like?
Jack Starr, we talk all the time now.
Really?
Great. I mean, thanks to Jack, he got me in the business. He's got me worldwide recognition as an early singer musician. I would think I was 18 years old when I recorded my first international album, No Turning Back. And I just said that to Jack a couple days ago. I think he commented on something that we put out or whatever. And Jack, I told him, I said, you know what, Jack, man, I got to thank you for, introducing me to the worldwide audiences, especially Europe and Japan and all that. He got me on the map. He really did. And he's staying busy, Jack.
Oh, yeah. Very cool. I didn't know he was still actually putting out music. I mean, I know he's had quite a few albums, but I haven't seen anything lately. So
yeah, he just did a festival in Greece with a new singer or whatever, singing all the stuff that it's funny because I recorded like 3 albums or 4 albums that did pretty well. Now we have people, and it's great to see people replicate my vocals, the stuff that I crazy. He's out there. Actually, you guys familiar with Todd Michael Hall? He sings with Riot 5.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
He's a great singer. He was doing all the stuff. He was in Burning Star with Jack, touring with Jack before he got into Riot. And he was singing all the stuff that I recorded back in the 80s. And it's funny now he was singing my vocals, learning the songs that I sang. And then I was in Riot, and now he's in Riot. So it's kind of crazy. He's a great guy, great singer. He's so perfect for Riot right now. All the stuff that he does, he's great.
I have a funny story about Mike DeMeo, formerly of Riot. So my thought. Okay, so here's the comedy section of the episode. So before the pandemic, I remember my father-in-law. He was so happy. He said, "Lou, I got us tickets to go see the greatest guitar player that ever lived. He's coming to Westbury Music Fair." And I said, "Eddie Van Halen?" And he said, "Who?" He said, No. I'm like, Eddie Van Halen's not the greatest? Okay. So he said, "No, he's coming to Westbury Music Fair." Then I thought, oh, that's right. I'm a Steve Hackett fan, formerly of Genesis. He's going to be there. And I'm like, oh, Steve Hackett. He's like, what? No, who's that? And I said, okay, who's the greatest guitar player that ever lived that we're going to see at Westbury? And he said, Tommy James. I said, Tommy James and the Shondells. Right. And he said, yeah. And I'm like, the Moni guy? And he said, yeah. I said, all right, Dad, I'm game. So, the pandemic happened. So the show was postponed 2 years later. And I went to go see it with him and I enjoyed myself. But the whole time I'm like, wait a minute. I know that bassist and that keyboardist. The bassist was Greg Smith,
Oh yeah,
formerly of Rainbow. And the
right,
keyboardist was Mike Tamio.
right. The Mayo,
And I
right?
was like, that's so great. It's funny because I enjoyed the show so much. I was like, that's great to see musicians making a living doing what they love. And then around Christmas time, my wife and daughter go to see this performance at
Oh, I know what you're gonna say at the Winter of Wizards or something.
not the Wizards of
Oh,
Winter. That's
okay.
Steve Brown of Trickster. I know that's what he
Yeah,
does.
Stevie Brown. Yeah.
Yeah, who is apparently co-wrote the entire Ace Frehley album, but I digress. But I don't know the situation with that.
Yeah.
But no, it was another thing that they did somewhere now. So I think at the not the castle, but it's at the Arboretum in Oyster Bay. So there was these two brothers that were playing, and there was this guy on keyboards playing with it. And my wife is showing me the video, and I'm like, that's Mike Dimeo, formerly of Riot. And she's like,
Right.
that's a metal guy? I said, he's a musician. He's making a living. And I
Right.
messaged him and he's like, oh, you should have come up and said hi to me. And I said, I wasn't there, which
Mike,
was unfortunate. I would have loved to have seen it.
let me tell you something about Riot. When I got into Riot, my favorite vocalist sounding out of all the vocalists that they had was so great. I liked Red Forest a lot, but I
Mhm.
really liked Mike DeMeo's voice the best. Really, I'm telling you, the guy had a very raspy, bluesy voice. I was like, I love Mike DeMeo's voice the best. I always tell him, I say, Mike, I enjoyed singing your stuff more so than any of the Riot songs. It was just so great.
More than Swords and Tequila.
Yeah, man, definitely. I mean,
Wow.
so the Kill is a great song. I loved singing it, but DeMeo's voice always gave me like, wow, man, it like hit me here. I'm like, that's great shit right there.
I'll agree with you on that because the first Riot album I ever heard was Sons of Society. So the
There you
opening
go.
track on that is On the Wings of Life. And I heard it and I was like, why have I not heard this band?
Right.
You know,
Great,
and
great guitar players. Mike Flint's sick. Him and when I was in the
Mhm.
band with Mark Reale and Mike,
Rest in peace, Mark.
guys, yeah, God bless. Yeah, he's not here with us anymore, Mark.
What was
But
that like working with Mark?
Mark was very interesting. I should say
Yeah.
he was not healthy.
Hmm.
He had
He had
Crohn's
Crohn's
disease.
disease. Yeah.
Yeah, and he passed from it because he had some troubles at the end, you know. But working with him was brilliant. He's a brilliant writer, brilliant guitar player, and him and Mike together were just like. And they don't. The best thing about them is that obviously they're great at their instrument, but their sound.
Right.
They don't use all this overdrive shit like saturation, and you can hear every note that they play. And they're like scaling together and harmony, like all over the place. But it's clean. I don't like all this. The guitar players, they oversaturate something. Not everyone, obviously, but the oversaturation, and you can't really tell, what the heck they're playing sometimes. It sounds like shizer.
Hmm.
So those guys are so good at what they do, and Mike is still killing it. And Mike Flint plays. He's a musician. He's in a Bee Gees tribute band that plays all over the country.
Not
Mike.
Tragedy.
Yes, Tragedy. I think it is Tragedy. Yeah, that's
It's
Mike
the heavy
Flint.
metal Bee Gees tribute. Oh my god.
No, not Tragedy. No. I saw Tragedy when I went up and sang with Steel Panther.
Yeah,
Irving Plaza.
I saw the video of that. It was great.
Yeah, I went up and Tragedy was playing. No, he plays in the New York Bee Gees, it's called.
Oh, okay. Um, Piggybacking on that. Let's see. I know what. Oh yes. The Band Geeks. So if anyone out there doesn't know who Band Geeks is, that's Richie Castellano. of Blue Oyster Cult. And the funny thing is, my wife went to SUNY Purchase with Richie, and he was a couple of years older than her. So I remember when we went to go see the free show of Blue Oyster Cult in Massapequa, she is watching them play and she recognized the guitar player. She's like, Richie. And I'm like, you know that guy?
Yeah, we dated.
Yeah, right.
They did not. And he had a girlfriend at the time.
That's what you
But
think. Yeah, it was your
what
wife.
Wayne, you're fired from life.
You're in trouble, Wayne. You would think, you know what? I was thinking the same thing, Wayne. Took the words right out of my mouth. Right.
Mike,
I was
don't get
gonna
on my
say
bad
something more
side.
vulgar.
Back to my question. Look, how was it that you ended up coming into contact with Richie and working with the Band Geeks?
I think it was from Jules Rodino, drummer for Blue Oyster Cult. He lives. He's a friend of mine. Are you familiar with Jules?
I'm familiar with. I loved this. The Symbol Remains, so I'm familiar with his work on that.
Yeah, Jules is a friend of mine. Him and a couple other guys recommended to Richie, you should get this guy Mike Tirelli to do some like either Black Sabbath or Whitesnake stuff. Or I did 3 songs on that actually. Mr.
One of
Big,
them was Mr. Big, right? To Be
Yeah,
With You, which sounded great.
and then we did Here I Go Again, which has well over a million views. And then we did the Children of the Sea. And believe it or not, Children of the Sea has like 350,000 views, but that's 4 years ago. We just, like I said, we just edited it and put it out on Ronnie's passing, the date of his passing 14 years ago. It's already got almost, I think it's up to 600,000 views in 2 weeks now.
Wow. So it doubled in 2 weeks from one of, that's amazing.
4 years, yeah, but it's timing, you know, people, I don't know how, whatever, the algorithms or whatever, it just, you know, caught on.
Everything is in due time. That's just how it works, apparently.
I forgot to tell you, when we were talking about my health, the reason why I stopped drinking is because I actually might think he's blowing up. Sorry, 1 second. I had pancreatitis from all the pancreatitis, the pancreas, the enzymes was building up or whatever. That's why not that I was drinking a lot, but since I've stopped drinking, not eating any seeded stuff, knock on wood, everything's been good so far. So let's get past that now. It was on my mind. I'm like, maybe I should tell him I had pancreatitis or whatever. That was the most painful thing I've had in my life.
You never have to feel uncomfortable to talk about anything. And if there's something, if there's like a line that you won't cross and we're touching that point, just say, you know, so don't even worry about that, Mike. It's all good. But
safe word is a pineapple.
But I thought it was Oklahoma.
It's probably one of the worst pain you can have in your life. It was dreadful. But anyway, that's exactly why I said I can't get this. If there's a blockage and your pancreatic enzymes are too thick or whatever, it's going to block it even more and whatever. So that's why it was like built up to like 18,000, which pancreatitis, you can, if you're over 200, that's painful. I had 18,000 was the pancreatic enzyme, the reading on it. That's why it was so freaking bad. Yeah. But anyway, I couldn't think of pancreatitis. My mind was going crazy and I was going to say something. Anyway, my people are texting me. I'm going to.
Well, we're going to wrap up soon.
Tell them to come onto the YouTube show and then just type into the comments and we'll just ask you.
I just want to stop.
But like, do you have to live like a gluten-free lifestyle or more plant-based or anything?
No, actually, it's you know what it is. Like I said, it's quantity. Sugar, not too much sugar. Sugar is hard to digest. So I got to limit my sugar. Any sweeteners that I use a natural honey, like a local honey. It's good for allergies.
Everything.
Locals. It's good. It builds up an immunity. So I eat a lot of honey. No, I shouldn't say a lot. I use it in my coffee and if I drink tea or in my oatmeals or whatever. But I got like the morning, you know, when you wake up in the morning, they call it breakfast. You're breaking a fast.
Right.
So I'm breaking a fast in the morning. I can't get up in the morning and eat a lot of carbohydrates. Doesn't work for me.
Right.
Um,
So like if you were to go to like an Italian restaurant, spaghetti out of the question.
I can't help it. I eat pasta, and then maybe 2 hours later, I start to get the shakes. It's like,
Oh man.
yeah, it's like I gotta. It's yeah, my pancreas overworks from.
Gotcha. Well,
Oh,
it's great that you've been able to find a balance with your health and still enjoying the food you like. By the way, regarding the Band Geeks, go check them out. They're currently on tour with
with
John Anderson, formerly
Anderson,
of Yes.
how great is that, man? Richie's such a talent, man.
Oh,
He's
he saved BOC in my opinion.
yeah, he's actually the MD of BOC as well. So he's the MD. He used to do sound for him. Now he's the MD and guitar player, and probably writes with them as well. You know,
He is
Yeah.
VOC now.
Couldn't have
Sing-
picked a better guy to replace the late great Alan Lanier than him. I mean, he's done such a wonderful job.
right? Yep.
Going back to Mark from Riot, do you think he got enough recognition? I mean, because he was around forever, and it's not as well known as Riot was. I don't think they really got the recognition
They should have been
deserved.
bigger.
Right.
Well, they made a lot of bad business moves. I mean, they came out, they toured with Rush, Kiss, Monsters of Rock. They just didn't get the recognition because of bad management.
Really.
You know, they were huge in Japan. They still go back to Japan. I went to Japan with them twice after they haven't been there in like 15 years.
Hmm.
And I remember the first show. I get to Japan. It's a 14-hour flight direct. I get there and I'm sick as a dog. 103 fever.
Oof.
Can't even talk. I'm like, are you kidding me? These guys haven't been here in 14 years, and now I come here and I'm sick. I was in the room. I had to go get like shots in my throat. I get to the venue, and they played a small venue that holds maybe, I think there's 300 people in. But when I tell you 300 again, it was shoulder to shoulder. And I hear him singing the songs before I got out there. I was so nervous. I'm like, how am I going to do this? I don't know what it was, but I got out there and my voice just opened up, and it was a great night. So unbelievable. But come on, hold on 1 second. People
In
stop.
Japan, did you encounter this situation where it's like when you guys performed, they were silently still, but then once the song was over, they reacted like insanely?
Yeah, that's the Japanese market is crazy. They're very respectful. I guess they're respectful because they're not like, like Americans and the Europeans, the way they react to metal or whatever.
Yeah.
It's different, but it was definitely interesting. They know their music, and they're very, very professional about everything that they do. It was a great experience, I'll tell you that.
All right, cool. Do you have a favorite show that you have played? Because you've been playing a lot of stuff. The Doro thing sounded really cool. So,
Man, it's played so many great things. I mean,
the one that really sticks out to you.
I guess, you know what? Magic Circle Festival, Man of War had a festival.
Yes. Oh my God. was that like the first one?
Yeah, that's the one we played. It was on 7707.
Okay.
And it was an amazing show. That one sticks out in my mind. I mean, playing Vakken for the first time with Messiah's Kiss and Holy Mother, that was cool. But these last shows with Doro were off the chart. I just everything about it. When we show up, the lunchtime, it's not like the States. You get there, the lunch is like from this wall to that wall. You got every kind of bread, every kind of cheese, every kind of meat. This is lunch. Then all of a sudden, dinner comes, and you sometimes have a personal chef. They're cooking for you, but it's not like America. It's America's. I tell you, man, we got to catch up to the Europeans as far as what's hospitality goes.
Right.
It was amazing, and you can't beat it. It was such a great tour. Nothing beat that tour, I gotta say.
It's just hard because the problem with America promoters, they'll stick 7 bands on one venue. They'll expect the opening acts to sell all the tickets for the show so they could pay the headliner. It's hard. It's hard.
It is definitely. Yeah, they don't do that in Europe. Either you got it or you don't. They might have buy-ons and stuff like that, but that goes everywhere, Bions and stuff. But it is what it is. But I'll tell you, Europe, nothing topped the Doro tour in March. It was phenomenal, totally.
That's awesome. Wayne,
I think that's it, man. I mean, we've been on here for quite a while.
we have. Well, I love talking with this man. It's
Yeah,
always
been
a
lot of
pleasure.
fun. And I'm sorry
Well,
that I'm trying to do this radio show, and I was trying to have you on that show too. And then the program I'm using wasn't getting the audio to play through to the
Faces this problem every
yeah,
week.
so every week I had it last time. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you
so.
had it all right.
But it's on YouTube, so
Well, Lou,
Mike-
we should get together anyway, man. We're local here. It's not like I got to go to Germany or Croatia or Italy or Spain.
Oh
or
no, I just moved to Serbia yesterday. No, I'm just
Ah,
kidding.
all right. I want to go there.
No, Mike, of course. I mean, any chance to hang with you and Janet, it's always an honor and a pleasure. Real quick though, if people want to find out more about Holy Mother, where can they find you guys on the internet?
HolyMotherBand.com. Easy as that. Please pre-save, pre-order the new album. It's real simple. As soon as you go there, you press the button, pre-save, pre-order. We need to support original music. You guys as well. You know, tribute bands are great. I love them. I have my idols, but it's taking over the business, man. People got to support creativity. What you guys do, what we do. From
And
the heart.
remember, buy direct.
yeah,
from
that's
the band.
that's you just reminded me of something to ask. One thing
Oh,
you said you are in what?
No, I was gonna say, go ahead. I know
All
what
right.
you're gonna ask. So go
First,
ahead.
one thing that you said you live in Patchogue. Does Record Stop have your CDs in there?
Well, they better.
Yeah, I hope so.
Well, we got vinyl too. See the vinyl? We have vinyl.
Well, we gotta make sure they have your vinyl and your CDs and stuff in there.
Yep,
So
yep.
I go there.
So
I
and
go
you-
there quite often.
you can also go to Mike Tirelli Musician, Facebook and Instagram, and TikTok as well. We're not so big on, we're starting on the TikTok thing.
Well, TikTok might be
is very
gone at some
important.
point, so
Well,
it
gotta
might not
be,
be a bad idea.
But it's funny when you just reminded me of a question that I wanted to ask Mike.
Are
And
we gonna ask the same question?
does it
You
regard
first.
a certain dipshit by the name of Daniel Ike?
Yes, it does. Wow, we were on
Then
the
you
same
go
thing
ahead.
there.
You thought it first, so go ahead.
Did you
Daniel
see
Ike.
Daniel Ike's comments about Spotify and the content that he expects bands to just make for free, basically?
I haven't seen it, no, but everything's for free these days. You know that. Technology, don't get me started on technology. Technology is great, but it also pretty much single-handedly ruined the music business for the musician. You know, I used to like put out an album right away. I got a check in my into my checking account direct from Gamer or ASCAP, and now it's like nothing. You know, we get a little bit of production costs, whatever. And most rec companies don't even pay production. My rec company at least gave me some money, production.
Mm.
You know, and here's another thing I forgot to tell you guys. We're talking about touring in Europe. We just got a decent amount of money for every night that we play in Europe. We have to hand in our set list, and it goes to Gamer, and they pay us for playing our own songs live.
This
So
is
I
the
think-
German publishing company.
Yeah, it's called
GEMA. Yes.
I've been an affiliate of them for, I guess, 30 some odd years. So
Right.
I just received some money from the Doro tour, and it's nice to see, just from playing our own songs. I don't know if America does that. I haven't seen anything from it, but we don't play that much here in the States, so we'll see.
Mm. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
The Spotify guy, he was just like, it saying how it costs artists nothing to make their content. Well, now he calls it content, but it's music. It's not really content.
I refuse to call us content creator.
Yeah,
First
it's
of all,
not. We're not content creators.
yeah, my job as a tech writer and as an instructional designer, I create content for my job. So yeah,
Right.
that
This
deserves
podcast is content. This is not.
Exactly.
right.
Yeah,
But when they start calling OnlyFans models content creator, I have a problem with that.
yeah.
Okay. I mean, we're not the ones that are getting fucked on camera, but we're definitely getting fucked by Spotify. I'm sorry. That's,
I know.
it is what it is. And, and thankfully we're in a position, Severed Angel, we're in a position where we don't really depend on the amount of streams to make a living. You know, we all have jobs, but that is not meant to knock on the artists who do depend on streaming services and album sales and merch sales and ticket sales to make a living. You know, that's why they're doing it. So
Right.
I think for this schmuck to resort to the art of writing, recording, publishing, and releasing music as content creation, I'm sorry, fuck Spotify. I was ready to tell the guys, let's just pull our shit off right now.
Well,
But
you know what? If
that's a double-edged
everybody
sword.
did it, if everybody did it, he would change his tune. Everyone, take your shit off. It's like anything else, you know. If it might hurt you because you're the only one do it, but if you get everyone to do it, it would be very effective, as
I
we
think
know.
if you get everybody to take all the streaming off,
Right.
all,
Then
not just Spotify, all
there you
of
go.
it.
Then you got to go out and buy the actual piece of music.
Right.
Go buy the vinyl. Go buy the CD. I mean, be a part of the band. Own it. You know, it's a nice thing to own the album or the CD. It's, you know, it's special. You know, and they are selling vinyls, becoming very popular
It's
now.
gotten popular over the last 10 years. Yeah.
Right. It's building. But another thing, the AI thing. How do you guys feel about that? I mean,
Well,
like,
I just think it's another tool that people need to learn to adapt to, but at the same time, don't let it run everything.
there you go.
Yeah, that's the problem with it, is that people all of a sudden, it's like a new technology comes out, they become too dependent on it. As a result, they're themselves are going to become obsolete.
yeah,
Well, there you go. Well, you're a musician. We're all musicians, and if you like you said, you depend on it. That's ridiculous. I can never just use sample guitar sample bass sample. I like to create it myself. Hey, if I hear a sample, I'm like, wow, that's a pretty good riff. I gotta play it. I don't know. I don't know, whatever. Or even singing. I'm not gonna take my whole vocal track and just put it in auto tune the whole thing and straight. I'm like, that's ridiculous, man. You know, I mean, most pop music today,
I can't tell the difference.
yeah, it's like it sounds so like a robot, man. There's no human, and some of these people are great singers, man, but you have to auto tune it to where you actually hear the timing of it, quantizing vocals and auto tuning it where it sounds like a robot. You know, I mean, if you're gonna sing, you're a good singer. You got a good voice, and you're gonna tune a note that sounds a little weird to you. That's fine. Use it as a tool. You know, I'm not for that. You know, it's getting sickening. You know, when I hear music on the radio, when I first heard pop music or whatever on the radio, when everything was auto-tuned, I was like, oh, something sounds weird to me. It's like, it's weird. It's weird. I didn't know what it was, but nobody sings like that perfect, you know? But now I do notice that a lot of young singers today are singing robotically. They're singing note to note. And we are too. It almost sounds like a robot. You know, they got that, and it's teaching them pitch, but it's also I think it's taking some of the feel out of the vocal. I think.
I blame emo for that. But it's funny that we're talking about pop music because, like, you know, I love Quentin Tarantino films because he brings back songs, obscure songs from decades past, and I'm hearing them. Like, I'm hearing Baby It's You by Smith, or I'm hearing a song like Comanche in Pulp Fiction, or I'm hearing, Cat People by David Bowie. Just the amount of creativity that went into writing those songs and recording those songs. You know, I love the sound of 70s music because I love the sound of the drums, the bass with the drums, the voice. I'm an audiophile, I guess. You know, I love listening to the crispness of what's going on. In the 80s, when they started incorporating more electronic elements like Borderline from Madonna, still think it's a great song. It's a great pop tune.
Yeah.
Come the 90s and Diddy's got his mark on everything.
Yeah,
Not anymore. But you
yeah, I
know,
know.
like that's when it started sounding more homogenized to me. And you know, this is an old man yelling at the clouds type thing, but it's just like, you know,
I'm
use
not
technology to help, not
well,
to make it.
right. Well, you know what? If so many artists, the rap artists and stuff, if they, I think if a couple of guys use it to extreme, that's cool. That's their style. That's great. Depeche Mode were pioneers in electronics and electronic music. They used it to create a style, which
They
is
had the
cool.
songs though.
Right, but exactly, they have the songs. You know, if Drake or whatever uses it to extreme, that's cool. That's him. But when everybody does it, and it's just like, holy shit, man! It's just let one guy be the creator of it. Creator, you know, it's just too much for me, you know.
Yeah.
But you say '70s. I love the vocals of the '70s. There's so much. They're organic there. They got so much feel, you know.
Yeah.
There's a song that I always play now every day. Um, okay, it's from Oh, she's a lady. Um, Little dream. She's a flower. I'm thinking of the title of the song. I just started playing it yesterday.
I know the song is on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of it.
All down upon her. He's a freedom, freedom,
Please, you two, don't give us a copyright
the
strike.
flower. Yeah, going round. Wildflower, it's called.
Okay.
It's a '70s song, and the guy sings it amazingly. Such a great Skylark, Wildflower. Love
Okay.
the vocal. Gotta hear this song. Every I put it on, it's got a dark sounding feel to it, whatever. But it's just brilliant. You got to hear this guy sing, and the way the song is constructed, it's so cool.
I believe it. There's a lot of stuff from decades past that I still love and still find stuff that sounds new to me. And yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of music. No matter when you discover it, as long as it hits you, that's what matters.
Yeah,
But
the creativity and the harmonies, ELO, Queen, Boston. I mean, those guys really had to work. There
this
you
right
go.
here,
Which
I
one
mean,
is that?
this is the Tony Martin box set.
Oh, okay.
Yes, great stuff. I mean, they're my
Yeah.
favorite band of all time, so I'm biased, but I'm happy that the
Well,
four albums that he did with them on IRS are finally out again. So
you know what? Tony Martin did an amazing job, but Ray Gillen was the first guy before Tony Martin. Ray Gillen's one of my favorite singers in rock. He left the band. He recorded what was the album? What was the first
the Eternal Idol, he did the demos
right.
with them.
He did all the demos and Ray actually sang it. And then Tony pretty much copied what Ray did. But Tony has a great voice, but Ray is my favorite, man. If he would have continued with Sabbath, he quit. The story goes that he quit the band because him and Eric Singer never got paid at the time. So they like quit the band. That's what I heard.
And then oddly enough, they joined up with Jakey Lee and formed Badlands.
Right. And
And
then
that first Badlands album is incredible.
it is. But I think Ray sang great on it. I just don't think they had the songs, man. They were competing with all those hair bands that were like had bigger choruses and stuff. And I think they lacked in the songwriting. They had a couple of great songs. High Wire is great. One of my
Dreams in the
favorite
Dark, that's a great one too.
Dreams in the Dark is great. I just think they needed like the next album. They needed more commercial songs to feature Ray. Because
Yeah.
Ray was on this compilation record in the '80s with John Anderson and Glenn Hughes and all the guys from Yes and Toto, and it's called Phenomenon 2.
Mm-hmm.
You got to hear him sing on that. It's very commercial. It's he did a song called Stop. A couple of the songs. His voice sounds so amazing. One of my favorite singers, Ray Gillen.
You know what I find funny is that both Ray Gillen and Tony Martin at one point were involved with the first Blue Murder album.
Yeah, I heard something like that. You mean they were singing and then John Sykes just said, now do it myself?
Yeah, pretty much. Like Johnson says everything by himself, but I'm glad that Tony Martin is getting credited also as one of the writers of Valley of the Kings, which is my
Really?
favorite Blue Murder song.
I
And I was
didn't
like,
know.
when I heard him sing that, I'm like, this sounds so much like Headless Cross era Tony Martin.
That's crazy. I didn't know he was because Valley of the Kings is whoo. That is one of my favorite songs, man.
It's my dream to play that song live one day.
Ooh, that's Tony Franklin, the fretless bass, man. Oh,
The
oh,
monster himself.
so great, man. Oh my
Yeah,
God. John Sykes sings the shit out of that song, man.
he does. And I love his material with Whitesnake, both albums, and I loved Thunder and Lightning from Thin Lizzy. John, please continue to put more stuff out. We need you.
You know, him and Portnoy had a project before. Portnoy did something with Richie Kotzen right before that. And
Yeah.
he said that John was a little too laid back, you know, he's smoking weed too much or whatever. And he was just yeah. He didn't put it together quick enough.
How could you smoke weed and play like that? That makes no sense.
I don't know. People amaze me sometimes. They can drink a lot and play drums or play guitar and drink like that. It's crazy.
Or like Bobby Rondinelli, eat a roast beef sandwich right before you go on stage. Hey, Bobby, how you
Yeah,
doing? Miss you.
yeah. Bobby's great, man.
Cool. All right, well, we're gonna wrap it up. Mike Tirelli, Holy
Cool.
Mother, thank you so much for coming on Rat
Thank you very
Review
much. I
tonight.
had a lot of fun.
I had fun. It was great talking to you, Louis.
There's a couple of people in the chat here right now, and they're watching. They enjoyed the show, and
It was great. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Let's catch up soon, okay?
Yes, indeed, Wayne and Lou. Thank you so
sounds good.
Cheers.
much. You guys.
All right, have a good
Yep.
night, and
Thank you.
thank you everybody for watching. And oh, what's that?
Well,
Yeah.
it's the first album because the second one hasn't come in yet. But
No,
go to
we got another
7angel.com
year
if
for
you want
that
to pick
one.
up a copy.
Yes, indeed, man. Thank you.
That one's Lost in Sea, the new album.
It fell with the bridge in Bethesda, Maryland. But I digress. Anyway,
Take care, gentlemen. Thank you
Right, you
again.
too.
Good night,
Thank
Mike.
you
Take
very
care.
much, and
All right.
thank you guys for watching. And yeah, join us next week. You can go on freeworld.fm right now. I'm on there playing some music. I was trying to get this show to work with this, but just couldn't get it to work. I don't know. Next week, maybe I'll get it to work. Some point
Hopefully.
I will.
One day you will.
One day I will. I did last time though. I don't know what the problem is.
I don't know, man. You gotta QC this shit before you go on.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, I didn't touch a thing. I just turned the program on that I used last time, and it was working. But you guys were just not loud enough. I don't know what was going on. I just downloaded something else. I'm hoping this works, and then I could just do it right from the program that I played the music from.
Well, test it before you use it.
I can't.
Anyways,
It's hard for me to do that because it's on a station that I'm not on.
no, okay. Well, anyways, ratsalreview.com is the site you want to check out too.
Yeah. Well, maybe if it's ever updated.
Well, then update it or hire someon to do it.
Been too busy. No, I'm not giving you any more money. But just come here to YouTube.
You don't give me any money.
No, well, we'll talk about that later.
Are you mad at me
YouTube.com.
now?
No, I'm not mad at you. Why would I be mad at you?
I don't know.
Why am I mad at you?
I don't know. Everyone's mad at me. Take a number.
Rat Salad Review, youtube.com/Rat Salad Review. Just always go here. We'll be here, and everything is always new here. This is where I always update stuff. And make sure you hit the bell button because that tells you when we're coming on. All right?
Yes.
So hit that bell button. Usually it's every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Tonight was a little different. It was 8:30, but usually 8 p.m. Eastern.
We made an adjustment for Mike because he was coming back from work around that time. So,
Yeah.
and we wanted him on, and we're glad we had him on.
Yeah,
And thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. A really cool guy. And go check out their new album. It's called Rise, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Available Friday on all streaming platforms. But as Mike said, go to holymotherband.com and purchase directly from them.
Yeah, please go do that. And I think that's it. So, like I said, go join me right now, freeworld.fm. Right now, I'm playing a Venom song. And freeworld.fm, I will also be on a replay of my show in case you miss it. It's also on Thursday afternoons from 1 to 3. And I didn't know about this, but also on Friday, if you're really up like early in the morning, like from 3 to, I think from like 3 to 5 or something like that, a.m. So I'm on there a couple of times. Yeah.
Okay, well, he's playing Venom, so lay down your souls to the gods rock and roll.
That's right. All right, everybody. Freeworld.fm, youtube.com/ratsaladreview or ratsaladreview.com, 7angel.com. Absalom, go check out Absalom the Bloodseed. New Project Resurrect song coming out very soon. I have to upload that and that'll be out. And that's it. Until then, goodbye.
I can't smoke weed and do anything. Thanks, Catman.
How do we stop this again? How do I don't know how to use this thing. Oh no, I'm stuck.